Hi guys. Today's topic is going to be kind of fair warning. I'm not going to go into humongous detail, but it is a good thing to talk about. We're going to be talking about purity and the insight that I have after all these years that a lot of kids probably don't want to hear their parents talk about, but maybe they'll take it from someone who is a little bit younger. I grew up with the whole no sex before marriage, and I was explained why. I was explained why you don't dress a certain way, why you don't act a certain way, why you don't do this before marriage, because it's just not, it's like unwrapping a present before you're supposed to. It's just going to make it less important and less of a good thing. And something a lot of people don't talk about is the aftermaths of how they felt and just the hard truth about it. And so that's what I'm pretty much going to do with this one. To say the least, my husband was not the first person I was with, and I was not his. And it's been something that I've had to deal with. I had to deal with it for a little bit, about feeling that regret and that feeling of I wish I hadn't. But you have to learn to forgive yourself and know that God forgives you and just move on with it, but acknowledge that it's not good. But this all started for me when I was probably a junior. Well, technically it started when my first relationship happened when I was 15 and a half, which, again, bad idea to date that young. I'll just tell you that now, very, very bad to date that young. But hey, if you're going to, please listen to what I have to say. It may help you with your heartbreaks if you have them in the future. So, my first boyfriend, of course, we kissed and whatnot, but as we started dating more, it became more of he wanted more. And me being in the household that I was raised in, I was just kind of, no. But something people don't generally talk about is when you make out, it generally stirs up a whole lot of feelings. We'll put it that way, feelings. And what people don't tell you is, and your parents probably will, but you won't want to listen, starting that before you're married and before you're ready, it's a bad idea because it's kind of like going down a hill with a snowball. You can start very small. The more you keep going, the more it's going to roll and just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it finally just lands. And that was something I had to learn the hard way with that relationship. That was back when I was trying to be a people pleaser and trying to latch on to things that I didn't need to. So when it came down to the peer pressure of giving in, I did a little too much. I didn't cross my virginity line, but I did do too much. And note, we were both stupid and foolish. It wasn't just his fault. It was mine. I shouldn't have put myself in the positions. Like, when you go to a movie, it could be as innocent as a group movie. But when you know that person is wanting certain things, bad idea. Because, one way or the other, you'll find a way. Luckily enough, I'm a shy person, and that never ever happened at a movie theater. Because there's no way on earth. Plus, a homeschool movie group, you would have to be insane. Bad idea. So, with that one, I had things like that where going to a movie, you had the peer pressure. If he wanted something, I was like, oh, you're kidding me, no. Well, when you continually do stuff like that, and then you do stuff like you just hang out in each other's cars alone at night, bound to happen. Something, even if it's the smallest thing, it's bound to happen. And then later, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, how stupid was I? Why? So, oh gosh. So that was kind of the start of my whole stupid track. No, I'm not condemning people who do things before marriage. I'm just stating that why I believe it's not a smart thing and why I agree with my parents on this. And when you're going through it, you won't want to believe what they're saying. You'll want to say, oh, it'll be different with me. But I didn't lose my virginity to my first boyfriend, but I lost a lot of my purity. And then moving on to my second one, it was a lot simpler just because of how I was then. There was never any push. It was just that was probably out of all the relationships, the one that was kind of like smooth sailing when it came to that, because there was just kissing. So, I mean, that wasn't as big of a deal, but it still kind of stirs up feelings. So, that one wasn't as bad. Well, then you move on to my third one, which that was a doozy. That one is just unwise to begin with, just because that was the one that I hid from my parents for quite a while, and we had a lot of strife over that one. I mean, I was a teenager. I was the rebellious teenager. I was the lying, manipulative teenager. I was the person that was my parents' probably worst nightmare, because I learned how to be deceptive, and it wasn't a good thing. Because at the time, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I totally got away with this. Yes. But then looking back, you're going to be like, holy crap, was I stupid. Because my parents had a strict rule that we were not allowed to go to boys' houses unless, like, their family was there or my family was there. Well, while I was in high school, I would say that I was at the library, and I'd be at his house. And note, like, at the beginning, it was actually neutral and fine. But the longer you do that, the more likely something else will happen. And things got pushed and different things happened to the point where I would literally say, oh, I'm working late, and I would be up there. There was one night that was so stupid looking back, because, like, I had fallen asleep in his house. And I woke up, and I saw the time, and it was literally 15 minutes before my father woke up for work. And I had to rush home. And I literally made it by the time he was in the shower and snuck home without ever being caught. And that was the thing that, looking back later, at the time I started feeling like this, like, pang of, oh my gosh. Well, that oh my gosh should have been like a humongous, like, warning of, this is not something you need to be doing. This is wrong. Because it proceeded to just go south from there. Now, no, not every single time I did stuff like this was it that bad. But, like, you lose purity in the fact of your mind and how you do things. The more you give your mind the rope to be able to think about things, it's going to eventually happen, because the more you dwell on it, the more you want it, and different things, and it just never works out well. Especially when you're not ready. And especially when it's not someone that you're 100% certain is the person you're going to end up with. Because, let me tell you what, wasn't a good idea. So, fast forward. I moved out of my parents' house, and things are happy dandy. So I think, with him. And I went over to visit him one night, and I put myself in a very bad position. I let a making out session turn into something more. And then by the time it hit that point of, am I going to break my purity, or am I going to stop it? I stopped it, but unfortunately at that time, not everyone's going to be like, oh, okay, you don't want to do this, fine. And it just so happened that he wasn't that type of person. And he made it very clear, physically, how ticked off he was. And that's something that I probably won't go into of what happened. Let me just say that it was something that was very scarring and triggered me for quite a while. But you would think that that would be ringing, hey, stay away from this person. You've already, like, had this big thing happen. Just stay away. Nope. Because, again, once you get that ball rolling, it's pretty dang hard to stop. And it doesn't help when you're always listening to, like, provocative music and you're watching all these sex scenes and all these things. It does add up. If you're married and your spouse is fine watching these scenes with you and it's not turned into this lust factor, fine. But when you're single, you have to realize you're putting yourself in a place where you're opening that door. Even if you think it's just a crack, you're opening that door and it will all come rushing in. And it will influence you in the coming days. Fast forward more, a couple months later, me and my boyfriend at the time were like, oh yeah, we're fine now, and he changed, supposedly. And I let myself lose my virginity because I thought that would keep him. And it turned out to be basically, I woke up that morning and basically got thrown out. Which, let me tell you what, for it being a first time, that's pretty destroying to a person. And it's heartbreaking on a whole nother level because you're faced with, did I do something wrong? Oh my gosh, I just did this with him and now he's throwing me out. What did I just do? And you're faced with a whole bunch of things, but you can't take it back. It's done. And that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize when they think about it is, oh, I don't care, I'll be with this person forever. I thought that was the case with him. But by the time the warning signs started showing, I wasn't willing to believe it because I had forced myself so much to be, he's the one. And let me tell you what, that's probably one of my biggest regrets was giving him that. It tied me to him in a way that I don't want and don't like. Because, I mean, you'll always remember your first. And you'll unless, like, you're complete poor, you'll always remember every person you sleep with. So that's why I just say don't go down that road. You don't want it. You don't want to have that regret and that feeling. And it only got worse for me after that to a point. I then proceeded to, after that, because I was determined to have someone love me and not do that to me, I slept with my coworker, or my ex-coworker at the time. And that was a difficult thing for me to have to own up to for a while. Me and him had been involved for quite a while on different things, and I lost my period in a lot of different things because I thought, hey, who cares? I'm just having fun. You'll care. You'll care who you do that with. And that was just something that I regret immensely. And so for like a good year, like, I didn't do anything. I was like, nope. Until I find the person, not doing anything. And then I met my husband now, but when I met him, with all the stuff that happened, like, I ended up, the day we started dating, I slept with him. And I was kind of shocked because generally, both people that I had slept with before, I had known for quite a while. And out of the blue, I was like, holy crap. And, like, though I'd already known that this person was the person I was going to marry, and I knew it, but it was still not a smart decision. And with all the stuff that we went through, it made it harder because you're tied to that person. No matter how you want to view it, you're tied to that person. And when we officially decided to stay together, I had a lot a lot of regret on the fact of not having waited until we were married. Though some parts of me are like, well, then I wouldn't have been able to bless my aunt and uncle. But that does help with my conscience, but I mean, when I got pregnant, I had people telling me that they expected this of me. And that hurt because it made it hit home that that's the person that I'd become. And I wasn't happy about that. I was not thrilled about that. And I was so mad. Like, I was mad at first at the people that said it because I was just like, what kind of thing do you tell that? Why do you say that? But then, like, the more you think about it, the more it's actually very accurate. Like, how I was acting, going out to clubs, drinking, hanging around guys at all hours of the night. No, most of them were actually gentlemen and my friends. But still, you're pretty much opening yourself up to a whole world of trouble. And once we decided to get engaged and whatnot, it was hard because I was struggling because I knew he had been with other people, and it was a hard thing for me because I was just like, this is the person I'm going to marry. I don't like the idea of him being with other people. And it took me a while to get over the fact that he wasn't my first and to have that regret of basically not having waited. And at the time of me doing everything, I didn't think that that would be the case. Like, I thought that each person that I was with, other than the coworker, that was just me being angry. Everyone else, I thought I was going to end up with them. And that's where it just hurt because I had lost so much purity because of me being foolish and being young. Like, that's why your parents give you the guidelines. That's why my parents didn't want me dating until I was ready to get married. Because when you're just dating for the heck of it, you're just stirring up emotions and feelings that you don't need right now. And when you're married, it's a very big struggle to have to come to grips with and ask God to forgive you and to forgive yourself on the fact that you didn't give all your purity to your husband. And it was a huge guilt factor for me for quite a while. And it was hard to get through. And I mean, it's the same with dressing. Like, purity is not just your body and what you do with your body. It's how you dress and act. If you're dressing like a hoe, that's just retarded. I don't care if you like low top shirts and short shorts. More power to you, but wear them with your husband. Because you're just having other guys lust after you, and that's a very bad problem. Because that's where you get more of the dangerous aspect of it. If you want to go out in the town with your friends and you're married and your husband says, yeah, that outfit's fine. Like me, every time I go out on the town with my friends and we are going to like a club or going out to have drinks, I always ask him, is this appropriate? Or is this something that I should only wear around you? Would you be upset with me wearing this in public with you not around? And more often than not, he'll say, no, it's fine. But those little things, it's important to do. And, like, if you're not married, ask your best friend or a guy friend even. Like, ask your best guy friend that you know has no feelings for you, or a brother or something, to kind of make sure that you're not creating an issue for yourself. Because that will be where everything kind of spirals and turns into. For a lot of people who are not looking to get married and trying to figure out how in this world to deal with relationships and friendships, I would recommend reading I Kissed Dating Goodbye and Boy Meets Girl by Joshua Harris. Those books helped me. That's the books I read a lot in that year span that just kind of like cut everything out. Threw some of it to the wind, but it does give you a lot of good pointers and a lot of good insight on things that would help you. I think with my food for thought for this one is be smart, because think of it this way. You're going to have to look your husband in the eye and say, you're not my first. And you're going to feel that pang of regret. Before you ever do anything, ask yourself, is this something that I'm okay telling my future husband that I did? Is this something I'm proud of? Or is this something that I'm hiding in the shadows because I don't want people to know? Because I know deep down it's wrong. I just want it. So with that, it's kind of a heavier topic, and it's going to be one that can cause controversy, I guess. But honestly, I'm not condemning every single person that doesn't. I'm just stating what I've gone through and how I view it. Throw a like, subscribe if you want to hear more. I'm going to be playing more games and whatnot. Leave a comment if you want to say something about it, because I like feedback. I have no issue with that. So, I hope this gave some insight and some pointers. I hope it helps people who are in that setting of, oh, my parents don't know what they're talking about. They do. And sometimes it's harder to hear it from your parents. So, I mean, I would recommend listening to your parents, but if not, listen to this, because, I mean, you don't want that regret for the rest of your life. And my past regrets I will always hold with me. I can live with them and I can bear them now, but it is something that I will always have a pang in my heart of, I wish I hadn't done that. So with that, I will leave you guys to enjoy your beautiful week, and I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye.